call so raw and true. Through misty hills the echoes play, chasing the ghosts of a fading day. The wind, it dances with the sound so bold, silver whispers through the cold. Mountains weep as the notes do climb, a sorrowful hymn that escapes through time. Oh, hear the cries of the rising pipes, feel the strain where the soul collides. A tune that wraps in a tartan shroud, lifting the hearts of the heavy bowed. With thirsty hills, quiet falls as the music spills, a thread of past where the future leads, carried afar by these ancient seas. A lone piper stands where the clouds kiss earth, a solitary hymn giving life its worth. Each note a tear for the ones we've missed, echoes that linger through highland mist. Breathing life where silence grows, the pipes unlock what the heart bestows. Eternal words without the sound, heavy hearts they firmly ground. Tune that wraps in a tartan shroud, lifting the hearts of the heavy bowed.
Oh yeah, good morning, good morning. A little later than usual, but was busy this morning with some things. So here we are. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. New month, March 1st is upon us. New weather. It's warmer. It's nicer. Very, very nice. Hope you're having a great day so far. It's been a good weekend so far. So I'll keep praying for my wife. I was helping her this morning. And if you're looking for some good music, get the Bandana Woman, Miss Suzanne's band. You can see the little thing right here, Suzanne's band. Get the glare off of it. It's a nice bit of Americana type music from the great state of Texas. Good friends, and I want to help her out. So she's good morning, Dusty. Good morning, Broski. How are you doing? Almost afternoon, but not quite. Busy weekend, obviously, with the ongoing military operations around. I guess if I could get Podbean, my mic unmuted, that'd be good. So I'll have to clip that. Probably thinking, who in the world? I don't normally mute the mic on Podbean. I just noticed that. Anyway, ongoing military operations around Iran, and many dead among the leadership. Cities celebrating. We'll see how far it goes. Missiles from Iran hitting hotels. My sister has some friends that are in Dubai, and they can't leave. They were on a vacation, and they can't get out. They shut the flights down. All flights, at least yesterday, were all flights were canceled out of Dubai. So as they get a handle on this, then I guess those open back up. So I don't know what motel they're staying at. I don't think it was the one that was hit. There was one that was hit in Dubai and it was on fire. But y'all pray for them. God knows who they are. A lot of hopefully innocent people will not be caught up in the middle of this. A lot of precision strikes, obviously trying to limit collateral damage to the people. And, just it's going to be one of those things that's going to be ongoing for a while. Of course, the usual suspects are rattling their mouths and running their mouths about how bad it is. When bad things happen, they don't say anything. When we're trying to, take care of some things, whether you like it or not, when we're trying to, they're always the first to criticize us. I'm talking about inside the country. Then there's those idiots outside the country. Who cares? All the people, all the countries in the Arab world, don't care what they officially say. They're clapping behind the scenes. They're excited. They're like, yeah, we've been needing these people taken care of. So they they're like, yeah, y'all go. They may not like either one of us, meaning Israel or America, but they're certainly glad to see us fighting their battles for them. Anyway, nobody likes to see military action unless you have to. But I will say this: once you take military action, you do it till you're finished. Don't wave off. Complete the mission. That's been our problem. Sometimes we don't complete the mission. Like I said, whether you like it or not, there's men and women, Americans in harm's way. Do give them all the tools they need to make it as successful as it can be. Thus far, a little bit of damage to some things, but nothing monumental. Last I heard on the American side or Israeli, but a lot of damage to the military machine. My understanding is the president has ordered the Navy to be fully destroyed. I think it should be. It has been nothing but terrorizing the Strait for decades, especially the last 2 or 3 years. Have been attacking not only our ships but others. We've put up with too much, and I think they do not need to have any kind of military. I don't care if it's a boat with an AK sitting on it. They all need to be sunk and destroyed. They have done nothing but threaten to terrorize and close down the Strait of Hormuz. And I'm full believer they don't need a navy. Just destroy it. And if they try to put another ship out there, destroy it too. I am fully on board with that because they have tried to mess with commercial shipping lanes. Hey, Miss Gloria, thank you for the like, and also Vernon. Completely destroy that. They should not have any air force to speak of. They need to be put in a box and left there. And then if they ever get some sort of leadership that can actually get along with the rest of the world, then we can talk about what you can have. But this country does not need to have any weapons of war at all. I certainly do not need to have a nuclear weapon, and I don't care who likes them, don't like them, whatever. I'm talking about the Ayatollahs and the religious fanatic leadership of that demonic leadership of that nation. And if we're going to do it while we're there and we've got the muscle, let's do it right. I mean, we've got the muscle, put it to use. They're doing that. I think this president will fully be on board with that. I think he's, they're going to hammer them, and then they're going to see who sticks their head up. And as long as they're firing missiles into other countries, they're going to continue and should continue to be lit up until there's not a bottle rocket coming off the face of that country. They should not be any kind of offensive weapons to this nation. And then, you tell the neighboring countries, don't think about invading or anything, or you'll get yours too. So, don't let them take advantage like in Iraq, because there's always still that hatred between Iraq and Iran, the old Persian Empire. They can't stand each other. Of course, been at war before many times. Hey, Dusty, out making money again. All right. You and Desiree, y'all be careful out there dashing through the streets of Lancaster, Ohio. But yes, there should never be, to the American naval vessels, there should never be a ship from a floating pontoon to a really mechanized naval battleship or destroyer or frigate or whatever it is. All of them should be smoke in the water if they come within a certain range of our military and do not turn back. I'm all good with them firing a warning shot if they want to, but at this stage right now, not even a warning shot. We drop you. Do not even in any way come at our military, or you're done. It should be like that remember the old game Battleship? I mean, just keep hammering until they're sunk. I mean, that's the way it should be, and it wouldn't take much. But you have to protect America. This is why the crapola of previous administrations. That's why American sailors died, because they let things come into range. I'm sorry, there's no welcoming committee from a country like Iran. They're not coming out, or Yemen or anywhere like that. They're not coming out to bring the bottle of wine to christen the ship, or champagne or whatever. They're not coming out to bring, roll out the red carpet and say, "Hey, welcome to Iran." No, that when they're coming at you, they're coming to do damage. They're loaded down with explosives or whatever. Blow them up. I never understand, but it's because under previous administrations, the commanders of these ships were not given carte blanche to fire on these people. You have to have that. I get it when you're talking about releasing nuclear weapons, but when you're talking about a ship that's approaching, or an enemy approaching your ship, approaching whatever, there's a length, there's a circumference around a ship, a battle group, that nothing comes into, nothing. You drop it, and what happened in Yemen years ago should have never have happened. Those sailors should not be dead. That's the failure of the United States leadership. You let these naval commanders do their job. They have to protect your kids. They have to protect the men and women on that ship, whether it's an aircraft carrier or a submarine or a battleship or whatever it is. You give them the ability. Good morning, Horsepower Coffee. You give them the ability to take care of their people, and that's a threat. Or in the skies above, we've had that too. You dance on the line. That's one thing. You come across it, you've been warned. That's it. You're lit up. But in war, you don't even let them get close to the line. They come anywhere close, you drop them. You have to have that. If you don't, they'll just keep taking chances and chances and chances. We're at military operations with Iran, so anything that's offensive should be destroyed. Any kind of missile capability, drone capability, any of that should be toasted. Broski says here that 36 U.S. military are dead, 5 other casualties, and that is unfortunate if that is true. I didn't hear a lot overnight, so I didn't have the latest. That's why I said it last. And I appreciate you posting that. Let's pray for their families. This is what I said, our sons and daughters. And when I say our sons and daughters, they are our sons and daughters for the nation. They are somebody's blood sons and daughters. But that's our sons and daughters from the nation. And they are over there doing what the commander-in-chief has ordered them to do. And we need to put a prayer cover over them that is better than any Patriot shield, and can be and will be over them, whether it's on a base or on a ship on the ocean. We have to, harden up as best we can. I mean, some of those hotels were hit. Those explosions were rough. I mean, I'm sure there were people that died, and I'm sure every country over there is wanting to get involved in this. I know Saudi Arabia is. Really best if they do not. We need, but if they want to partner, that's fine. But right now, I think we got plenty in hand to take care of it. But it's going to take, it's a decent sized country. It's going to take time to find. They've been identifying sites forever, but some of these can be mobile launchers. Finding out where all those, because they have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of missiles, because that's all they do is build the military machine. And they need to, obviously there's a lot of spying going on. There's intel, there's special forces in places, certainly. But it takes a little time. And it only takes one missile getting through to, and so it's a sad deal. I mean, we're going to see those flag-draped coffins coming home. And, it ought to infuriate us that they have put us in this. Listen, I know there's people out there, they're angry. They think this is all for Epstein or Israel, or whatever. We can argue that. I have no problem with that. But at the moment, these are our young men and women, and they're the ones that I'm concerned about. The ones that are on the battle line. You can talk politics and about why this is reason is happening. We can talk prophecy. We can talk whatever the reason is happening. They're there right now, and all I'm concerned about is coming out of it with as least of loss of life or injury as we can. And God forbid we get a hostage. If they shoot down a plane or something and we've got a hostage on the ground, then it's going to be on like Donkey Kong, because then we're going to send in the special forces to get our boys and girls if that happens. So I know he's trying to do this without ever putting the known boots on ground. There's always spies. There's always special forces operations, but I'm talking about a ground invasion of some kind where we're having to go in and take over an area to try to get to people. Nobody wants that. And then we get out. We keep a presence in the area. I really don't understand why we don't keep, and I know you only have so many battle groups, and you should always keep one in the Middle East. There should always be one in the Strait. There should always be one there because we have interest there, and it just keeps things at peace. I don't know why we ever move those out. There's reasons for it that's beyond this man's brain, but I said 36. I meant 3. I'm sorry. Things were flashing across my glare, but anyway, pray for them. And leaders. A lot of the leadership is dead. Some cities are being taken over by the people, but they've got to get the political leaders. That's the religious dictatorship that's over there. But they got to get to some of those. And there's a lot of people celebrating in our country, around the world, of what's going on. And God bless John Fetterman. I mean, he is fully supportive of, hey, Sergeant Wilkie, God bless you. I love watching your stuff, Sergeant. Love watching you. I used to play a lot. I don't anymore, but I had watched it a little bit, but I need to watch some more. Y'all, now that, real service people, former president, whatever, lighting it up. I like it. But yeah, we need to, Fetterman has come out. He's supportive of what we're doing. And listen, the world is a better place today because of an idiot being gone. And maybe it makes the next ones think a little bit, at least maybe twice before they start running that mouth. This guy's responsible. And I've been people arguing with me about the money we gave back. It was their money. They don't deserve it back. And they deserve everything they get. We've never paid them for what they did in 1980. I got a long memory on this stuff. They paraded our people around. They beat them. They have been the state sponsors of terrorism in the region. These are not, the leadership is not good people. The people are good. There's wonderful Iranian people, but the leadership is horrible. They have done nothing but pour every dime they can get a hold of into the war machine to kill people, whoever they are. Listen, some people don't like Jewish people. Okay, I can't help that. But, you don't got a right to just go kill Jewish people. You don't have a right to just go, light up Jordanians or whoever because right now they're firing missiles into all those countries. Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, wherever they can send a missile. I mean, these are just, they're firing. I mean, they are targeting hotels. These people, whoever's, behind the firing mechanism, they need to be dead. No hostages on this. Just kill them. I mean, that's what we're dealing with. It's just innocent people, trying to be out. Maybe they are traveling. Maybe they're there for a conference. They're vacationing, like I told you about some people this morning. And right now they can't move, and they're having to watch the skies because of these radical, demonic, fanatical idiots, garbage that is firing, just missiles at random wherever, all over the region. So this is what you're dealing with. And so that's my 2 cents. And you're welcome to post yours. I'm not against what you'll say. I'm not one of those. As long as you just don't attack people, give me your thoughts. If you don't like that we're there, I get that. If you don't, but I think we can all agree as Americans, we're sick. We've seen the failures of the past where we don't finish the deal. I think we got a president right now that wants to finish the deal. He wants to, for whatever reason. Again, yeah, sure, he's propping up the Israelis. Sure. Absolutely, yes. He's believing in that. And so some people that's going to make mad. But the fact that the Iranian leadership is out of the way is a good thing. Those Ayatollahs or whoever, bad people. They've just killed and killed and killed. They've tortured their own people. They've killed thousands. And you know what? For every bomb that is dropped, I think of that young girl who had the bravery to come in. I mean, she lost her life. And I get it. Some people said, well, being a Western is, I get it, we have freedom here, and that's a precious thing that our men and women have protected for us. And some gave their life and have lived lives of damage, whether that's psychological or physical or both or whatever, for the rest of their lives to give us freedom so that we can be idiots over here. Sometimes we Americans act like idiots. And maybe we do have people that get out, and maybe they don't dress the way you would like, but that's the freedom we have. They don't have that freedom there. And that young girl that went into the square and unclothed to her bikini, and maybe you don't like girls in bikini, but that's none of your business. It's none of my business. She didn't have that right. She went there and she tried to exercise her rights as a human being to make choices. And she knew what she was doing. She knew the danger she was placing herself in. And she's a young girl that has more courage than most people in the world. And she went there in front of that torture chamber, in front of those people, and did that in an act of defiance, and they killed her for it. So every bomb and everyone that's blown up is a to me it should have her name on it, and they are paying back these people for how they have denigrated, tortured, put down human beings, especially women, for a long, long time. And and I get it. You go into a country like even our military, we don't have obviously there in Iran, but you take the military, our females, they go into one of those some of those countries you're in, and Saudi Arabia or Turkey or wherever, and they can't exercise their rights as American women over there because that's offensive to them. So they have to do certain things, to stay in the good graces of our host nation of where we're at. I'm going to tell you another one over there that's a loose cannon. He's been itching for a while to get in a battle. That's Turkey's leader. He has been itching to get into a battle. He wants so much. Of course, he's criticized this, and so there's other ones there, but maybe this will make them think. So, but anyway, I hope that that report is not true, but I'm sure it is. As operations go on. So let's pray for the families involved and the ones that have, it's going to be communication, not total silence, but pretty silent for a little while from the American soldiers over there, being able to get information back to their families. I mean, they're in the middle of an operation, and it's going to be a little bit. So that's going to be, there'll be some things, but it'll take a little while for that to loosen up. So they may not hear it from their son or their daughter or their husband or wife or whatever for a little bit. But anyway, that's kind of where we're at this morning, almost noontime on a Sunday. And I'm home with my wife. I didn't get to go to church, so I'm just coming on here to praise the Lord and pray for those folks and meet up with you and listen to what you got to say. So just more of a chit chat. I will be back on today. We're doing some work in the studio. If you got noticed, there's things moving around, and we're not finished. We setting it up a little bit more for our in-house guests that come in, as we do have a lot of folks that are coming in the studio now to come on the programs live here, and we're glad. That's what it was always intended for. But we didn't do it for a long time, except for a rare occurrence. But now it happens almost weekly. So we're doing some work behind the scenes. So me and Biscuit Boy after the show yesterday did a lot of things, and we're not done yet. Broski, okay, I'm on Rumble now. Just got back to my place. I went to Mass, grocery store, and Cabela's already. You've been on the move. When I do pray for my wife. She has been. I was really helping her, making sure she's put something in her and gotten her up, and made sure I wasn't even sure if I was going to come on, but she got her morning coffee in and all the little things, and so just keeping a close eye on her. So. I may be at church tonight, so my son will be here. But that's a lot. Is going into Cabela's like going into Bass Pro? You don't walk out with spending less than $100. That's what my friends tell me. Thank you for that. But yeah, $100 at the Bass Pro. That's what they always say. That's also the Harley Davidson store. They say that's what the HD stands for, $100. Hey, I need it too. Yeah, pray for me. Absolutely. I need prayer. It's been a challenging last few months. But hey, a lot of people go through it. It's not just me. Life is that way. But we're okay. We are okay. Making sure nobody texts me. Biscuit Boy was active late into the night. Dusty and Desiree's out door dashing. Rumble keeps freezing. It does that sometimes. Yeah, and they're going through some growing pains. They do. Also, get you a Pickaxe link. We're very active on Pickaxe, and we appreciate them so very much. I still am blessed that was able to have our our guest on Jeff Dornick from there, and I've been on there doing some work on mine. And but Pickaxe and Rumble work well together. I'm still trying to figure out one thing for some reason not working today, but that's okay. That is a okay. But it's good to be here. You're still door dashing. All right. Well, you got to be out there for a while. I didn't see any this weekend. Sometimes I see them at the store when I do security. Um, uh, they'll come out and bring workers stuff, but I didn't see any this week. I did see a couple of Uber and Lyfts. A lot of the workers, about a third of the workers, I think, they don't have a car. They travel in and home this way. So sometimes they have families. Sometimes they walk, depending on how far it is. Some of them they have to pay that. They don't have a car. Inner city, I'm sure. People that live in outliers, they have the cars. That's the ones that drive in. But the people who work there that live in the city, they don't keep a car. A lot of places, sometimes they live in places where it's not even really good to have a car. I took my granddaughter, downtown. Her mom was in town, and they're doing some downtown stuff. I hadn't been up, and it's not a huge city by no means compared to in Atlanta or something like that, but it's still a city, and you got to deal with traffic. And I hate it when I took a wrong turn. It's been a while since I've been by that motel. Really nice motel they're staying at downtown, and you walk and do things, and that's what they're doing. But I got in the wrong lane. I was like, good grief. I used to patrol down there, and I used to get around downtown a lot, but I don't go down unless I have need of. And they're always doing construction. You're always running into stuff where it's hard to navigate, and they've got roads shut down. And you got all the bicyclists, they've got the bike lanes, and that's fine, but it shortens down and makes smaller the lane you're in. And the lanes are, they're constantly doing this, sometimes through the city. And it's like, oh, just get me back out of here. I'll take my traffic in my city and not have to deal with that. But it's okay. I'm not whining. I'm just saying listen, I believe wherever God puts you is home. If you're in the middle of a metropolis, you make that home. If you're in the middle of the desert, you make it home there. Wherever you're at, you make that home. But if I had my druthers, I would be not even probably on the edge of suburbs. I would like to have it where it's not so packed in, but I like to be within just a few minutes of stores and things like that. I don't want to be 30 minutes away from everything. At least have the necessary stuff within just a close drive, but still be out a little bit. I like that. I like to have a little bit. I'd sit on we're not too packed in my neighborhood, but a little bit, but not real bad. But I would like to have at least an acre or two, maybe even 5 that's I sit on. But I'd been intended to buy some property, some land, and then build on it. I don't know if that ever happened now, but that was kind of our plan. We kind of talked about retiring to the mountains. We talked about that. So who knows? Life is life. It doesn't always go the way you wished it would, and you just do the best you can. And that's just life. You move and you do, or you don't move, you stay. And sometimes you don't, that's why I say do all you can while you can, for you young people in the crowd. You don't know how long you got, but you probably got a lot longer than me. And, live your dreams, follow them out. Don't put it off. Work your butt off. Put the elbow grease in. Do your schooling, whatever it is you got to do. But live your dreams. You get one shot through this life, and it goes by so very quickly, so very quickly. I was watching some interviews last night with a couple of great actors that I really like a lot of their stuff. I was watching some old YouTubes of Lee Marvin and Charles Bronson, and I like a lot of their movies and stuff. And some of these were together. And then Jill Arlen, of course, Bronson's wife, and second wife, I think it was. Anyway, and this is back in the 70s, and I'm thinking, I was alive for that time frame. And then it's just flown by, and all those people, I think all of them are dead now. And it's like, okay, life flies by. I was watching and I never really cared for. I like talk shows in the 70s, some of them. I was always a big Carson fan. And there's some others that I like. As I watch the Dick Cavett show, I realize I'm not really a fan of his style. He's okay, but he's not great. And his interview style was really annoying to me, a little bit. he's trying to be funny, but he wasn't really funny to me. It looked a little dated because it is, a long time ago, 50 years ago. Um, but in the 70s, we're known for those things. We had so many talk shows that the afternoons were full of them in the evening and late evening or late at night. You had tons of these talk shows. I mean, it was the thing that did. Stars, they went on these things all. Some of them were like lifers on the talk shows. They went on them all the time. It's like they lived on there. It was like once a week you'd see the same guy or woman come out on these talk shows, and and then sometimes they got banned. I was watching. There was an old Carson episode where Rich Little, does all the voices and everything, and he made Johnny Carson mad. And he said, and Carson said in the clip, I remember watching. I went back and looked at it again. He said, "You'll pay for that," because he was making fun of his golf game, and he kind of fell on the ground just joking around. And he was never on the show again. Their claim was that he was kind of, wasn't as popular anymore, and they brought on some others. No. Carson got mad. He said, "You'll pay for that." He was notorious for that if he got mad at you. But I watched one last night with David Letterman. Same thing. Had a guy on. He kind of had a meltdown. He said, savor this moment, meaning the message was clear. You're not coming back. It's over for you. I'm not a Letterman fan, but it's funny, it's not often you see the interviewer get so frustrated. They don't know what to do with their guest anymore. It's kind of funny. And they just don't call them back. But some of them, it's kind of necessary. It was necessary for them to keep their career kind of going because they were more doing the clubs or whatever. So to be out like that was something you could keep promoting and get people to come to clubs. Well, like they did a whole lot of TV and movies, a little bit. It was more clubs, and so they would come on and get a little publicity, and then people would see they're coming to your city, and then they would help with ticket sales. So it's kind of necessary for somebody like him to do that. So I'm sure he found some other ones to go on, but that was a big one. Johnny Carson back in the day was huge. I mean, you got on there, that night audience was massive for a late night show here on the East Coast. Of course, not as late when it was West Coast, coming on the West Coast, but prime time really. But here it was pretty late now. I think 11 when Carson came on. People watch Carson go to bed, and that's what it was. They would put the TV in their bedroom, and then they would lay in bed and watch Carson, and then that was the end of the night. Of course, a lot of times there wasn't anything left after that anyway. TV at that time, a lot of it, so cable went off, and there was no late night show. In some cases, it wasn't even allowed. Even local access had to be off at a certain time. Now look where we are, 24/7. It never shuts down. There is no shutdown time. You can watch it as much as you want on your phone or whatever, tablet, TV, streaming, all of it streaming. It's amazing how far we've came in my lifetime. I mean, from my lifetime started with the mounted phone. There was no cordless, with the cord that was about 25 foot long. That got tangled and wrapped around everything, to the early days of the antenna you pulled up. I mean, and look where we're at, and we're not stopping now. I mean, what's going to be in another 5 years? I mean, of course, you'll have the iPhone 27 by then or something, or 30. They try to get 2 out a year, I think. But telecommunications is changing so much, massively, and it continues as technology continues to grow. They tried the glasses. That didn't really work too good, I don't think. but people do love their they love their devices. I get tickled going to I go to the high school to drop off one of the grandchildren, and there's an officer out on the highway side, and he's just there as a visual to make people slow down. Well, there's another one that's usually there on the property, and every morning we go by him, he's got the little lights flashing. He's got his head down. He's playing on his phone. He don't have a clue what's going on around him. I could be in a mask driving by, and he would never know because he's not looking up. He's looking at his phone. We all do it. I mean, to be honest, most people, if they're sitting still somewhere, they're probably looking at their phone. I mean, how many of us have been behind somebody at the light changes and they're just sitting there? They're looking at their phone. They're watching something, or they're texting or whatever it is. I mean, a lot of the cars now are made to really help you with that. I mean, it automatically connects, and you can see the text and you can hear it in the voice, or you talk to them live, even video, whatever. And they just continue to work to make that. But but along with technology, the leftists worrying about us for every little avenue of our life. I don't have the newest iPhone, but I get tired of the messaging that comes up on my phone every night. To protect your hearing, we have noticed that you have listened to some rather high audible programming for this number of days, this average of hours a day. To protect your hearing, we suggest that you turn it down. I suggest that you shut up. I'm 60 years old. I think if I've survived all the concerts and all of the loud things, and I've still got pretty decent hearing, I think I'm okay. I think I know what I'm doing. Because believe me, I don't blast it like I used to. But technology is there to tell you. And they tell you how much screen time you have. This week, you have averaged so many hours a day. I'm glad the podcast don't do that. All of a sudden, a scroll shoots across the screen. This is your 5th hour of broadcasting live today. You should consider taking a break. I'll be the judge of that. Oh, my good friend over there at Empty Pockets Podcast, he always says, I'll broadcast until my butt can't take it no more. That's his God. Oh, my goodness. Well, if you think about some of those people, they broadcast a lot, and some of the Newsmax says that Trump says we're ahead of schedule as they launch a new wave of Iran strikes. So I don't know what that timetable is, but they're going into the heart of Tehran and lighting them up. Yes, it does say 3 U.S. soldiers killed in Iran operation. So I see, and 5 seriously wounded. You're right. You're right on that. CENTCOM says there were several sustained minor shrapnel injuries and concussions in the process of being returned to duty. Boy, we got tough guys. But no telling what. But it was on the ground or in. So that could have been, who knows where that was. They don't really say. And they shouldn't right now. We don't need to be hearing about that yet because they're, where we're working at and the harm of it. Iranian authorities says that 200 people have been killed since the start of the attacks. And, of course, that Ali. Have you seen the little video somebody they put together of President Trump and the turban? Oh, my gosh. I saw that last night. I told Ali. He didn't listen. Let's see. I was trying to look at the list of nations. I don't know if it shows what nations that the Iranians have fired missiles into. We know Bahrain, we know Dubai, we know Israel, for sure. There were 8 people killed and 20 wounded in a strike that hit a synagogue in Beit Shemesh in Israel. Death toll is 10 in the land. Let's see. The Iranian president sent a pre-recorded message. Of course, he don't want those signal. You see the Iranian broadcaster weeping, just weeping. He's breaking down, shaking as he's announcing the strikes. I wonder if he did any of that when they were killing people, torturing people. I wonder if he had that happen. He said the new supreme leader would be chosen in 1 or 2 days. I wonder how many people are going to bow out of that. I think I'll pass. You never know. Maybe they're just radical enough they don't care. But they've seen what happened to the one that was there, and probably the next 5 in succession, maybe more. And so it falls to the next guy, and he's thinking, can I get a rain check on that? Like maybe after the American military moves out of the region? Or you 5 go, and if y'all don't make it, come back and ask me again. I'm telling you, you don't want to be running your mouth right now. There might be something coming your way. Let's see. Trump called for the overthrow of the decades-old Islamic Republic. Let's see. The Iranians said that we've crossed a red line and must pay the price. Well, we know who's paying the price right now. We will deliver such devastating blows that you yourselves will be driven to beg. Sir, I doubt that's going to happen. Mohammed Qualibaf. We're not going to be begging anything. Trump warned that any retaliation would only lead to further escalation. Capital letters he put on social. Truth Social. They better not do that, capital letters. If they do, we will hit them with a force that has never been seen before. Oh, I could see leaflets being dropped on the nation. You know, your leaders continue to talk smack. We need you to help with the overthrow of these people, or more is going to fall. A lot, more than you've ever seen. The most beautiful bombs you've ever seen. The greatest of missiles, as he would say. In Pakistan, I heard this late last night, the U.S. consulate was stormed. Police and paramilitary forces used batons and fired tear gas to disperse the crowd, and at least 9 people were killed in the clashes. As the strikes have pounded Iran, the Islamic Republic has retaliated with missiles and drone attacks on Israel and nearby Arab Gulf states countries hosting U.S. forces. The air war could rattle global markets. Of course, they always say that, particularly if Iran makes the Strait of Hormuz unsafe for commercial traffic. Oh, it's not going to be unsafe. We're going to make it safe. They're not going to have the ability to make it unsafe. Just let us mop up the little bit of Navy that they have, and there won't be any worry about that, whoever wrote this article. There's not going to be a worry about the Strait of Hormuz being unsafe for commercial traffic, other than we might have a few missiles we need to take out that can reach over there, but it's not going to be dangerous for a while. 20% of the world's traded oil passes through that waterway. Oil prices are already set for swings, so we'll be paying a little more at the pump. Israel's defense minister, Israel Katz, said Sunday Israel will have a nonstop air train of strikes against military and leadership targets in Iran. Flights across the Middle East were disrupted. Like I said, Dubai, I know the air defense fire thudded over Dubai. That's where the people I don't know them, my sister does. They were there on vacation, and they can't get out. The UAB, commercial capital, has long drawn business and expatriates from billing itself as a safe haven in a volatile region. They bill themselves as that. Shrapnel from Iranian attacks on the Emirates capital of Abu Dhabi killed 2 people, the state media said. Debris from aerial interceptions caused fires at the city's main port and on the facade of the iconic Burj Al Arab or Arab Hotel. Attacks also extended into Oman, Iran's longtime neighbor. Saudi Arabia condemned Iran's attacks on its capital, Riyadh, and eastern region, saying it had successfully intercepted them. The kingdom noted that it had not allowed its airspace or territory to be used, will not allow its airspace or territory to be used to target Iran. You don't have a whole lot of say-so on that either, unless you want to buy any more planes from us and military hardware. We will do what we need to do. We don't need your airspace, but don't be talking. Little king over there don't need to be talking smack either. We'll just pull everything out. Jordan said it had dealt with 49 drones and ballistic missiles. Kuwait, Bahrain, and Qatar also said they had intercepted projectiles Sunday morning. Iran's foreign minister blamed such strikes on the U.S. and Israel for starting the war. Blah, 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 blah. He said Iran's military units are somehow isolated and acting on orders given in advance. Well, you'll fight till you're dead. That's it. He said he has spoken to his counterparts in the Gulf countries and urged them to press the U.S. and Israel to end the war. Oh, yeah, that's really going to work, that we're going to be pressured into ending the war. Broski, I always wondered why people vacation in Mexico or Dubai. Seriously, people, you can't pick a better place. I wonder that too. I don't need to go. There's honestly, I mean, I get it. It's the freedom we have to go over around the world we want to go. For me, I don't need to leave the United States. The most beautiful things we have here. Yeah, I could spend a lifetime going and seeing them. I never see all that we have here, but that's people. They want to say that they've walked the streets of Venice, or they have went to Russia and seen the Kremlin, and again, these places bill themselves as a Western, in that area, kind of, they're Westernized, and all the gambling and all the shows, and they've spent billions of dollars building structures and all that. But you can go to jail in those places very easy. And one of the worst things that traveling Americans do is not knowing the laws of the land. And you act up and get stupid, get drunk. You could spit on the ground and be in jail. Yeah, there's a lot of ways that you could act up and not even realize it. And you could be sitting and it ain't going to be Club Med. And they don't care. They don't differentiate. You're locked up. You're locked up. You go in a hole. I mean, they just don't care. There was here. It was about a year or two ago that they would that there was some college girls that got in trouble and were detained, and they were put on trial. Um, well, I have traveled out, but only one place. I did see the pyramids in Mexico. But really, I don't think that I'm probably going to travel outside the U.S. anymore unless God sends me. I don't desire it. My wife can't travel right now, and I think I would just I think I would. I'm just going to be here with her. So I've got it at my fingertips. All I got to do is pull it up and see how pretty it is. I'm not down in it. I mean, if I were to say where would I go if I was travel outside the United States of places I would like to visit, I would like to go to Australia. That's a place I would like to see. Obviously, it would take a long time to see things there, but there's a handful of things there that I would really be interested to see. I'd love to go to England if I could stay away from roving gangs of hoods. Scotland, Ireland. I'd love to make that little trail through there, see some castles, and where else? I'm trying to think. Maybe Italy. Maybe Italy. Um, I don't know. I'd have to think about it. But that's some of the places I would like to go. I have no desire to go to Hawaii. I really have. I do not. I just don't. People always talk about I'd go to Hawaii. Don't. And if somebody paid the ticket, fine. But it's nothing that I would really probably ever do. I don't need it. Alaska I would like to go to. That's another one. I'd like to take the cruise to Alaska. I would love to fly over to Seattle, see Seattle, board there. Go on up to. Well, I know that's why I don't want to go, Brusky. They don't like Americans there. They don't, and everything's overpriced, and they don't want you there anyway. So why would I go? I mean, they're not going to make me feel welcome. So I don't need to see it. A beach is a beach to me. If I'm on the beach, I'm looking out over the water. I could dream I'm anywhere in the world. I mean, honestly, I know some water's different and all that. The sand, I get that. But I don't need it that much. I'm not really that much of a beach person anyway. I just like to do a driving tour. I like to see it. I'm not really a beach bum or something like that. If I would walk along the beach right on the edge of the water. I like that. That's meditative. It would be good exercise just to, feel the breeze. And, I could do that anywhere. But I don't think that I want to go to the Iranian beaches right now. Walk around. I just think the vacation a la Tehran right now, I think I'd probably stay away, Cuba as well. They probably got some nice beaches somewhere. I don't think I need to go. I could just see some Americans, they don't even know what's going on. They they travel into some country and why's missiles hitting the buildings? What's going on? Oh goodness! I want to tell you, there's a couple of videos. The one good thing about telecommunication is all these videos we get of people showing the income, and I hate that it's happening, but wow, what we got all these reporters for us that are giving us these videos of missiles coming in and striking these things. Sometimes, right in the middle of a pack, because that's what they do. They're compounds, palaces, whatever. All that stuff's right in the middle of a very metro area, very packed, urban. And we have to use precision strikes that will, implode the thing down on itself or whatever. It's amazing to watch, but there's a lot that goes up in the air. A lot. And I hear, you hear the language. I don't even know what they're saying, but I imagine they're saying, "Oh crap," but maybe not like that. Let's see. Trump called on Saturday for the Iranian people to take over their government. There was no sign in Tehran or elsewhere of unrest. In southern Iran, at least 150 people were reported killed when a girls' school was struck. We heard about that. Dozens more were wounded, the local governor told Iranian state TV. The Israeli spokesman said he was not aware of any Israeli or American strikes in the area of the school. U.S. CENTCOM spokesman Captain Tim Hawkins said he was aware of those reports and that officials were looking into them. Iranian state TV said at least 15 people were killed in the southwest, quoting the governor of Lamerd region, Ali Al-Zaydeh, as saying a sports hall, 2 residential areas, and a hall near a school were hit. Of course, we've seen residents that were rejoicing, cheering, blowing whistles, and, yelling as only they can that Khomeini was dead. Mourners raised a black flag over the Imam Reza Shrine in Mashhad, and the Iranian government declared 40 days of public mourning and a 7-day nationwide public holiday to commemorate Khomeini's death. Citing unidentified sources, the semi-official Fars news agency reported that several relatives of Khomeini were also killed, including a daughter, son-in-law, daughter-in-law, and grandchild. Unfortunately, they got families. And, I remember when Gaddafi, I think it was his daughter that got killed in a strike, and then he went in a hole for 25 years, and then we saw the end of him. Let's see here. Of course, on the state side, there's a lot of calls about Congress and questioning his rights to make the strike or whatever. Broski said an 80s comedy show in the 80s called Not Necessarily the News. I remember that. At a commercial where they said, "Come to Lebanon, where every day is like the 4th of July, and show rockets blowing stuff." Yeah, I don't think that Marines will want to ever vacation in Lebanon. I seriously doubt. I had a friend that was in the Marines at the time on a U.S. ship, and he thought that they were going to send him in. They got there either right as that happened or right after. And he said it was pretty tense, the 220 or whatever it was that were killed. But he said they were ready to go do the job. But it was a lot of tension on the ship. Let's go in there and mow them down. Iran said it is not enriched since June, and though it has maintained the right to do so, while saying its nuclear program is entirely peaceful, and we trust them on this, right? It's entirely peaceful. It has also blocked international inspectors, the IAEA, I believe that's called, from visiting the sites where the U.S. bombed. Satellite photos analyzed by the AP have shown new activity at 2 of those sites. Well, that activity is probably obliterated right now. I would say they've been struck multiple times since we've been bombing. They would be doing mop-up duty on those. And so, did you see the one explosion? Like, it was like a little, looked like a little anti-aircraft thing. And like there was a guy that was trying to run out of it. I guess he saw it coming in, and it like hit this thing and just obliterated it. And you can see him. It looks like he's going to get away. Then you can see him just rolling, knocked down and rolling. I'd say shrapnel off of that blast killed him. But you can see that in the satellite imagery or the video that they showed. So it looked like on a hilltop or something. It was no more. We'll just say that. In Khomeini's absence, Larijani has emerged as the power broker in Iran. He said on Sunday a temporary leadership council will be set up after Khomeini's death. He reemerged last year as one of the most powerful figures in the security hierarchy. It has been managing a broad portfolio of nuclear negotiations to Tehran's regional ties to its violent suppression of internal unrest. An establishment insider who hails from one of the country's leading clerical families, he's been overseeing Iran's efforts to reach a new deal. Well, they didn't reach too hard. He accused the United States and Israel of trying to plunder and disintegrate Iran and warned secessionist groups of a harsh response if they attempt any action. That means the people that are sick of their crap and want to take over their country have freedom of whatever kind they can have there. Iran's armed forces chief of staff also was killed in the strikes. So they're trying to find some new leaders. Larijani has also made several trips to key ally Moscow. I don't know where Biscuit Boy heard his report, but Putin has been very against these strikes. He sees the nuclear issue as totally resolvable. Well, you should have got on the fast track, friend. I mean, in my view, this issue is resolvable. He told Amman State Television last month, if the Americans' concern is that Iran should not move toward acquiring a nuclear weapon, that can be addressed. It's not going to be addressed, dude. It's just going to not happen. I mean, all this little flowing language you're using, address, negotiate. There is no negotiation. You either let the inspectors in, you either stand down, or you get what you got. And that was where it was at. I mean, if anything, you're stupid. You're just stupid. And, that's all delaying tactics. That's all that is. I'm sure they were trying their very best to get some sort of material as quickly as they could so that they could drop a bomb, because they've always said they will drop the bomb. They don't care. Same thing North Korea says. He was one of the first Iranian leaders to call for violence in response to the legitimate demands of the Iranian people. A U.S. Treasury statement said on January 15th, saying that he had acted at Khomeini's behest. Rights groups say thousands of people were killed in a crackdown on the protests, the worst domestic unrest in Iran since the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Well, you're going to have a revolution on your hand again, and the freedom fighters and patriots of the nation are going to be trying their best to start slicing and dicing some of that control away from Tehran. It may not be that Iran totally falls into it. It may be that it could become sectionalized. Some of the outliers could fall. Tehran will be harder just because of things that are massed there, military and everything else. But it's not impossible, as that's being obliterated. I'm sure that they are trying to blend in as much as they can and they plan that to blend into, set up shop in residential areas, under hospitals. I mean, that's the way they do it. And go underground and continue operations. So it'd be harder there. The urban warfare of Tehran, that would be ugly. But the people could, you can't stop millions of people if they really get unified. You can't stop them no matter what you got. They'll just be overran. There'll be a lot of people that die. I remember when Iran themselves overran Saddam Hussein's in the 12-year war. That was a defense tactic that they used. They armed 1 million Iranian fighting age men with AK-47s and told them to go kill. And with that many coming at them, those tank commanders and stuff, you can only shoot so many at a time, and they were overran. And that was the turning point in that war. It looked like Iraq was finally getting the upper hand. They had crossed the river. They were in the Iranian territory. They were making a move on the city, Tehran or whatever. And that's how they defended themselves. A mass of people coming at you with AK-47s. Sure, they killed a lot, but you can't stop 1 million people running across the sands. Not just with tanks and stuff. It's not going to happen. So that was a defense tactic that they used. So nowadays it's the attack of the drones. Nowadays it's the drones, which can be made fairly quickly, and what they call the killer drones, which will hover up there looking for targets that they control for hours, maybe days, depending on how long they can keep that up. But certainly for hour upon hour, those can be hovering around looking for targets to go after. And so they got smart technology. They got all the stuff they need. They got the video feeds going. I mean, some of those are connected by wire that can go up to 9 to 12 miles so that they can't be jammed. So you got to shoot them out of the sky. And They just look for targets to hit, people, things, and they can do a lot of damage. Some of those drones are, I mean, massive in what they're the amount of firepower that they're able to have. It's become the new battlefront, the new war, as we see that. Uh, so you're talking a lot of smack there, friend, but it's not going to work. Netanyahu says, "Together we will fight." I know it makes a lot of people mad, but listen, that's just the way. That's the nature of what's going on. U.S. does sink an Iranian warship. Yes, it was. They said they had sunk an Iranian warship and called on Iranian forces to lay down their arms and leave their post. They sunk an Iranian Jaymaran class corvette in the Gulf of Oman at the pier. As the president said, members of Iran's armed forces, IRGC, and police must lay down their weapons. Abandon ship, Sitcom said on a post on X referring to remarks on Saturday by President Trump. So I guess they didn't, and it was sunk. So they don't have a huge navy, but what they have is disruptive. Absolutely. I mean, they can sink a ship. They have enough. They can put enough firepower on there to do that, but they can't fight the ship. If you blast them, what we have over there, they've got nothing. They've got nothing. But you got to protect your people. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that jumps up. Oh, I saw this. The president wants to put Senator Cruz on the high court. That would be controversial, I would think. What do they call him? Pep boy? Do you want Cruz as your? Would you really want him on the court? I don't know about that one. Oh, Ted. I would like to appoint Senator Cruz to the Supreme Court. He's considered nominating for a future seat, although Cruz said last month he was not interested. It's not a good move, Brusky. I'm with you. Nobody likes the guy. Listen, way before he flew out of the nation and made all his constituents mad during the bad weather. He's that guy in the room that makes everybody mad. He's the guy that even if they're agreeing on the same thing, people don't like him. They can't stand him. I mean, it's just a fact. He just comes across that way. He tried to grow his beard. He tried to look more dignified. Listen, I can poke just as much fun at Republicans as I can Democrats. There's a lot of five-star dummies on the Republican side. Here's a question for you. Should Fetterman just turn Republican, or at least independent? Should he even carry the banner of Democrat anymore? There's nobody on the Democrat side likes him, I'm sure. After everything he has said and done. It's like the further he gets away from his stroke and the clearer his mind gets, the more, on most things, not everything, but on most things, he gets more conservative. I mean, they've already tried to come after him about his health. At first, they were all defending his health, but when he didn't vote their way, then they're all trying to say, "Oh, he's sick. He's obviously a sick man. He's not voting with us." So I think Fetterman should just cross over, to the other side. Well, that would make him mad. I'll take a Fetterman over a Ted Cruz. You think? Well, he may be a fraud, but he is definitely sticking to him. Don't fall for it. He votes. He does vote liberal. I'm getting it, but don't a lot of Republicans vote liberal? I mean, do they not? Do we not have some Republicans that are liberal leaning? Sure, we do. They're frauds too. I mean, that's the whole word rhino, Republican name only. So he is a liberal. I mean, I get it, but for what we have sitting with the people that are in front of their name, so Trump said this. He's the only guy I know about. Let's see. Trump introduced Cruz at a rally in Corpus Christi, Texas. He called Cruz an amazing guy. Joked that he would easily win confirmation from Democrats and Republicans in Congress a lot because they wanted to get him out of the Senate. He's the only guy I know who'll get 100% of the Democratic vote, 100% of the Republican vote. They want to get him out of there. He is such a pain in the A. That's what the president says about him. but he's so good and so talented. He is that. That's not going to work. He'll never get confirmed. I just don't see it. I may be wrong, but I just don't see it. Former Israeli Prime Minister Olmert has raised his head up. He want to get into some action of talking about this. He says a powerful statement, leadership by Trump. Isn't Olmert the one that stole a bunch of money or something? I mean, he used to be the mayor. When I first knew about him, he was the mayor of Jerusalem. But he got in a lot of trouble. Yeah, they don't say it in this article, I don't think, but he got in a lot of trouble himself. He says it is a powerful display of leadership of what he describes as a historic moment. Could be more powerful, more leadership than the statement made by President Trump. He said it all. He said that his decision to launch the operation was very explicit, powerful, forceful, and expressed hope that the, quote, nuclear capacity of Iran will be completely obliterated. This has been the focus of Israeli policies for more than 20 years now. Olmert said, noting that curbing Iran's nuclear ambitions had also been central to Trump's first term. Now he took out this action, and I hope it will be successful and it will last until it's done. While encouraged, Olmert cautioned against expecting immediate regime collapse in Tehran. Let's not forget that Iran is over 90 million people. It's an enormously powerful nation with a tradition that they have never been taken over by anyone. We can't expect a short blast of attacks and that everything will collapse. He warned the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps remains loyal and very radical, adding, I don't expect any sharp deterioration of an effective control of the Revolutionary Guard inside Iran in the immediate term. Still, Olmert said Trump's remarks showed leadership, determination, and a broad-minded approach, which is very encouraging. He stressed that success would require sustained resolve. It's going to take some time. It's not going to end in a day or two. We have to be ready for this lengthy and complex and sensitive operation. He added, if the effort will carry on and U.S. leadership maintains perseverance against pressures which may come from different parts of the world, the operation could reshape the region at this pivotal moment, Olmert said. Trump's statement stood out as a defining show of resolve as the campaign begins. That pressure will continue to mount inside and outside the country, I'm sure, as this goes on. Broski says Fetterman is pro-trans, pro-alphabet cult, pro-abortion. He can stay with left heart. I knew that comment would elicit some response. But aren't there a lot of Republicans that love the guy? They would vote for him if they had an opportunity to vote for him because they see him standing. Would MAGA vote for Fetterman because they see him standing with the president on these matters, these particular matters? American voters are very quick to jump, on board what they know, what they see in front of them, what's being promoted. Sometimes they don't do research and you got to go look at how they vote, right? You got to go look at not only what they say, but what they do. Here's a name from the past that may have been killed. Ahmadinejad. Remember him? The former leader said that he was killed. They can't confirm it, but remember that guy? What a whack job he was. He thought he was ushering in the last imam, that it would be the final caliphate for the world. That that's what he believed. Remember him? He lived very modest. He didn't take a big salary. Drove an old car. He claimed that when he stood before the United Nations, that the people there was a control over the people. They couldn't take their eyes off of him. People claimed there was a green glow around this guy at the United Nations when he spoke. Remember him? Remember that guy? They say he's dead. They say he was killed together with a bodyguard during an Israeli airstrike. So I don't know. While he was under house arrest, he was president from 2005 to 2013. Remember, he made the Ayatollahs mad, and they turned on him. Nobody can officially report it, but that's what the sources are saying. In the Tehran's Narmak area, they killed him and several bodyguards. It was a U.S. Israeli joint airstrike at his residence. An old score to settle. Not going to come back to power with him. The Iranian Labor News Agency, known as ILNA, was said to have published a story saying he had been killed in strikes in that neighborhood. Later, it said it could not be confirmed and quoted a person described as close to Ahmadinejad as denying he had died. We will see. During his presidency, he was known internationally for defending Iran's nuclear program and for remarks that drew condemnation, including calls for Israel to be eliminated from the pages of history and describing the Holocaust as a myth. His disputed 2009 re-election triggered mass protest over allegations of electoral fraud. Amnesty International reported that during the unrest, thousands were arbitrarily arrested and dozens were killed on the streets or died in detention. He's a brutal guy. He's a brutal guy. Don't fall for Fetterman or Screaming A. Smith. Actions speak louder than words, and they both live. Oh, I know. I know. Wow. Ahmadinejad. That's a name I hadn't heard in a while. Because they kind of boxed him in. He didn't have a whole lot of say-so anymore or anything. He's, I think, probably pretty fortunate to be alive, honestly, if he was alive, because I really thought they would kill him in the nation. Let's see here. Trying to see. Let me change. Let me look a little international here. Liberal as it may be. We'll go over the seas, see what they're saying in some of the foreign press. Daily Mail, Trump faces Republican fury. They like to use big expressive words. Not that that's a big word, but they like to throw those little action words in there. As 3 U.S. troops were killed in our Iran war, and ambassador's disturbing response goes viral. There's some explosions. Mike Waltz issued a bizarre statement after U.S. casualties were announced. Freedom is never free. That's not bizarre. It's true. We know that freedom is paid for in blood, the blood of American soldiers. That's why we take that so very serious. But these snowflakes over here can't handle it. But that's them trying to just build a story. Nobody wants anybody to be killed, but it is never free. It has to be paid for. And anybody that doesn't believe that is an idiot. And there's no fury. We don't like it, but we understand. That's why I started off the program the way I did. You can't have these type of operations. It's not clean. War is never clean. I don't care what technology you have or how you do it. It could be trips over something on the ship while going to load, set the next missile or something. I mean, people are going to die. The more involved you get, the messier it gets. And the people that pay are the frontline soldiers. They die. And that's the sad truth. And we have to be strong as Americans because we're going to see the media is going to make sure they're there to see all the, and I'm kind of torn on it. I think Americans need to see that the flag draped coffins, but the private moment between the family, I don't like them airing that. That's private to that family, and they've lost everything to them. I get it, and some people say, I don't like the click moment on that. Sometimes people do on planes that are quick to put it up. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not filming with my phone a little daughter and little boy and the wife crying over the top of the car. I'm not filming that. I'm not for that. I'm just not. That's me. I'm not saying you're wrong if you do it. I don't feel right about that. I do think Americans should see that coming back. They should be the full military honors as they're coming off the plane. But that private moment with the family, that is private. And it's just really, they've given their all for the nation. And we could give them the due respect of privacy. I believe in that. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. I don't even know if it's worth 2 cents for me, but whatever. We can't, I was at a store the other day. A lot of places you go, they say we're going to average it up, to the next 5 cents. I was at a dollar store the other day, the old Dollar General Market, and there's a family in front of me, and they were buying stuff, and the young man was paying, and the lady says, "I won't be able to give you back your 4 cents." It was 71, something 71. or yeah, and she said, so he gave her 75, and she said, they should just average it down to me to 70, but whatever. She said, I won't be able to give you your 4 cents. We don't get pennies anymore. So here's my thing on that. Why don't we make the process where they're not on the penny, where they're on the 5 cent, either down or up? Does that make sense? I mean, I don't know. You take it if you use a card, but they don't give pennies, so you're not going to get your money back. Maybe we just make it 70. Make the computers take it down. If you're going to take it up, you take it down. Right? We learned how to average up and average down in school. At a certain point, over 5 and up, it goes to the next one. And 5, under 5 and 4 under 5, it goes down the lower. I was a little bit baffled by the way they acted about that. They should just say we average. But me too, broski. Me too. Let's see here. The president says that the situation is fluid, so out of respect to the families, they will withhold additional information about the identities of our fallen warriors until 24 hours after the next of kin have been notified. A U.S. official told media outlets that the war with Iran is not expected to last weeks, but Trump would not provide a clear timeline on the matter, and that's because honestly he don't know what he wants. He don't have it. He'll go with his gut on this. The generals may have a loose timeline, but the president he will reserve the right to change that at any minute. He don't have a clear one. He never does that. He always says, let's get it done. Let's get the job done. He later said that the operations had a schedule we mentioned earlier. Let's see if there's any new information here. Thomas Massie, who's long called out the administration for its handling of the Epstein files, wrote, PSA, bombing a country on the other side of the globe won't make the Epstein files go away. Truth. Any more of the Dow going above 50,000 will. Okay. All true. But, sir, the moment right now is to get our girls and boys home safely. I don't know why they call that a bizarre reaction. It's not free. Showing some of the hotels, the bombing out, the windows shattered, some of the walls just falling to the ground. Democratic House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries demanded Congress unite to restrict Trump's war powers. Heartbroken by the loss of life of multiple service members in the Middle East, Jeffries said, when has Hakeem Jeffries ever been heartbroken over the loss of military veterans? Am I wrong? No more American heroes. And when has he ever called them heroes? Have you ever heard Hakeem Jeffries use this phrasing? I've never have. If he said it, show me. I've never heard it. No more American heroes need to die because of a reckless decision to go to war. How about no more American first responders and stuff like that? People like that need to die in our country because you're inflaming people within the United States to attack people. How about that? Congress must act this week to restrain this president, meaning that we're going to restrain him, but we're the future president. If it's a Democrat, they can do what they want. To make sure that our service members do not sacrifice in vain. It's not in vain, buddy. We must finish the job. This is Lindsey. Lindsey loves war. Lindsey Graham, South Carolina. Broski says, it always bothered me when they show bones for famous dead people or mummies even. Let the people rest in peace. Don't desecrate their bodies. I agree. I'm not with that. And he had said, there's the South would have won the war. Lindsey Graham. To make sure that our service members do not sacrifice in vain. We must finish the job. He wrote on X, the cause of taking down the largest state sponsor of terrorism. I wonder if he was on a conference call with Zelensky while he put this out there. Zelensky's been running his little mouth about, things that need to happen. The regime in Iran is a noble cause. It must be completed. The worst thing that can happen for our military members is that their sacrifice not to count. It's imperative we finish the job and sink the mothership of terrorism. I wonder who gave him that line. He didn't come up with it himself. The Iranian regime forever. Other top conservative figures have condemned Trump including Tucker Carlson. You hear this meltdown? Boy, he called Trump's decision to embroil the U.S. in a war evil and disgusting. He this morning, Iran raised its so-called red flag of revenge and vowed to hit the U.S. and Israel with a force never experienced before. I'm not too concerned about that. The president says that U.S. troops could lose their lives in the operation, adding that we may have casualties. Sure. The blowback Trump is facing from conservative allies and Republican lawmakers may have legacy-altering consequences on the president. Right now, there's no real huge blowback. There's a few running their mouth. Trump famously ran on ending forever wars in the Middle East. He has. He's also been praised by many for actions he's took. You're never going to win. Somebody's always going to be mad, whether you do, whether you don't. Now, I don't think any of us want us in war, but now that we are, let's finish the job. Newsflash, Tucker is a CIA op. Let me explain, and so is Sean Ryan. I have never liked Tucker Carlson. Never. I've listened to some of his interviews. I like some of the people he had on. I've always thought that his little out of nowhere laugh that he does is very annoying. Maybe that's just a pet peeve of mine. I'll probably make somebody mad by saying that. I thought that he was his whole Russia. It was interesting, his Russian tour of grocery markets. But I thought that he was a little too soft on the Russian leader. I thought he should have pinned him down more, and I agreed with it. Even a lot of liberals that didn't go the way. I don't know what he was expecting out of it, but he got his interview, but it was almost like he's sitting there sipping wine with the enemy, and and he's giving him this history lesson. I mean, I would have said stop. I understand the history of it, but can we not talk about something in the present? like letting people go that you have locked up. Show of good faith. He wouldn't do it. So, but again, you could say maybe he's afraid of being locked up. I've just never liked him. I didn't like him when he was on Fox. I don't like the bow tie look. He's just always had an ick feeling about him. I mean, he has this look he gets. I just don't like. And he asked weird stuff. Now, and again, I do think he was shut down when he was showing the J6 stuff. It was very obvious he got shut down. There's been some interviews he's had that I've liked. I'm not saying, because there is things that he's done. I did enjoy the Moscow trip on the markets and stuff. Yeah, he was too soft. He didn't need the hour-long history lesson. I mean, at some point you got to stop the guy. Like, excuse me, sir, but we don't have so much time, and we will post links. We can film this off camera or whatever, whatever. But we need to get to the matters at hand. And either the interview is over or it's not. But at some point, you got to ask a tougher question. I mean, there's a way to say it. I mean, your opponents would say, you don't have to make yourself the enemy at the moment. You don't have to say, well, I want to know. You could say there are those who say, or those who want to know, and they would want me to ask the question. That's how I would approach it. Even when I'm in Toronto, it's so much cleaner, much more relaxed. There's almost no crime. It's a nice city. I really do. Yeah, I never really cared for him. Some people just follow themselves, I never did, listen, and I think this goes back to, I don't fall all over myself for any human being. They are humans. They make mistakes. They're not all perfect. But there are those who, it's like a cult following for certain things. And, listen, I don't, because whenever you mention a name, there's both sides. Even coming in my podcast, there are those that are on both sides of these issues, whether it's a Putin, a Trump, a Fetterman, I'll mention another one, Charlie Kirk. And there was a lot of things that I liked in the things that he did. I didn't listen to him all the time, but I sometimes did patrol and listen to some of the stuff he was doing. I definitely want to get young people more engaged into civics in their country, and they need to be. And yes, promote Jesus Christ, absolutely. But there were times I didn't care for everything that he was doing. Just again, I don't cult follow anybody, and I'm not following his ex-wife. She may lead that organization. That's fine. I'm not against her. I'm not for her. I'm sort of in neutral ground. I was not a Turning Point USA supporter before. I'm not now, meaning I'm not against it. I've never supported it. Like I didn't send the donation in. I listen to some of the programming. I flip in the channels on podcasts, and I listen. I can remember listening to maybe two all the way through, portions of others. I never went to a campus where he was speaking. I don't like what happened. I think it's horrible. But I'm not a hater, but I'm not a cult follower either. And I would just say it that way. And I'm not saying that I don't take a stand. I do. You've heard me take stands, and even when people get mad at me. But I'm just saying I've really sat back and measured my response on this a lot, because I thought I never was really a supporter. So to come out now it'd be heretical for me to say that I was supporting the organization or him, because I really never did. But I wasn't against them either. I just sort of, when I first heard about them, I thought, well, this is more of a young person's college age thing, and I just thought that's great. But I don't feel like it wasn't my main focus. There were other podcasters that I listened to a lot more at the time. Um, it's like Matt Getz. I used to listen to Matt Getz's program a lot. I was not a full-fledged Matt Getz fan, although I did like the program. He brought up a lot of good stuff. I used to listen to Devin Nunez, who used to be there, and of course now I think he's still with Truth Social, if I remember right. But he was Southern California, down there in the wine country. He was their representative, and I used to Representative Devin Nunez. I used to like to I'd listen to audio podcasts a lot, driving around doing security, and I listen to him. But I've listened to a lot of people. Who's the guy? I just saw him last night on a little video. He's talking about the weekend and the operations. Savage. I used to listen to him a little bit. Didn't like everything I heard. Of course, all the way back to Rush. There's a lot of them I will listen to. I like to listen to Michelle Tafoya sometimes. I listen to her stuff a little bit. But I'm not supporting any of those other than with my listening. I don't send donations. I don't, and I'm not promoting them. I'm just saying I'm just giving you a look into some of the stuff that I'm listening to. But I've listened, it's just no different than me than going to reading what's the Arab Press, Al Jazeera. Have I went to Al Jazeera, read an article too? Sure. I've read articles from publications all around the world. It's out there. I know how to read it and sort of filter it and get what I think is interesting out of it, real, false, whatever. I take it at face level. There may be truth there may not be truth. Some things I know are lies. Some things I think they're dead on. But I'm a person that's always studied and looked at things from all across the spectrum. I may think, it's no different than me than reading a manifesto. I've read a lot of manifestos. Am I reading them because I have some sick, attraction? No, I'm just interested to take in all the information. The Columbine killers, I watched every video that they ever put out except the one they've never released. Sickening, yes. But I was just trying to understand it from all sides. So I listened to everything. I listened to their parents. I listened to the authorities. I listened to friends. I read everything I could get my hands on, because when I go into a story, I like to read as much as I can in the time I have. I don't have the time to do it every day, but there's been times where that's what I did a lot of. So I don't take hard stands sometimes. Sometimes I do, but again, you can't please everybody, I was trying to see if there was any more news in this, and we'll move along. I'm going to have to get off here in a few minutes. I really do. I got some things I got to get done. I'll be back after a while. New York Times is blasted for out-of-touch headline about Iranian Supreme Leader's death. They've been slammed for its headline announcing the death. Of course, the New York Times is out of touch a lot of times. Let's see. They published an article. One of the most evil people in history had been killed in a U.S. airstrike. I guess because they didn't say anything about who he was and what he was. They just went very bland on it. I guess because they didn't classify him as a dictator and stuff. The pictures from that compound, you can see the blast zone. Wasn't much left standing there. There's a little bit, but in the heart of it, it's gone. Anyway, interesting. It is a beautiful time to be alive. Thank you, Donald Trump. There from Rumble. It's a beautiful time to be alive. Truth coming to light. I missed some. I'm sorry. I was reading and talking, and what did I miss? I'm very anti-litter. I can't stand seeing trash on the ground or the water, even seeing someone flick it. So yeah, I'm the same way. I don't like that. It's a beautiful time to be. Truth is coming to light. Truth is coming to light. Broski's, this is comments. I'm against her. She's evil. She's a little misattention seeker. If you research her life, wow, shady. I started liking CK's son, but Charlie Kirk's son, but he was one of those Protestant Zionists. I'm not a Protestant Zionist. I do, I have a political part of what I would think about Israel. I have a historical and I have a spiritual. There's a lot of future things with the land and that the Bible stands on and for the people, and the future is ugly. I mean, it's going to be ugly. There's going to be a lot of bad in that region, a lot of bad. I'm not a Zionist because I am a Christian. But listen, they're going to have a place at the table. Okay, people say they don't, they will. The ones that are truly born again. Nobody's going to be there that's not born again. I don't care what you are. I mean, you can't be a follower. You have to be a follower of Jesus to have a seat at that table. So that's what I would say. But I love all people, so I don't take one side over another. I listen. I'm just as horrified at that there was at the Palestinian so-called. I know they've got to get all that straight, and that's still not been talked about much now. But there's still a big mess there. But the innocent loss of life there. So the killers get what they got. The ones that pick up arms and torture people and kill their own people and all that. Try to starve them out. They get what you get. But I love people, and it doesn't matter from what country. I love people, and people are people around the world. They may have been raised, but there's evil in every country, and there's good in every country. In the people, there are people that are very kind. I've met people from just about all countries. If you think in my life, I mean, most of them. And I've been treated with much respect. We'd have differing beliefs sometimes. Sometimes they are Christians, sometimes they're not. But it allows me to sit down and have that discussion about my faith. And they've always been receptive to listen to that. And I've never had an argument in doing that. And I'm thankful. I think that's what I should do. Hey, Gigi, thank you for the like as well. I want to be, I want to promote. And, listen, I take heat, and I have taken heat. Because I try not to take a hardline stand. I try to give people a voice of their own. I don't try to craft that's your belief. And I may like it. I may agree with it. I may not like it. I may not agree with it. As long as it doesn't, there's some lines I have to hold. Some people have got mad at me about that. And sometimes people think I should have acted more forcefully in certain things. But I try. I've always said I'm not the speech police. I tell people this, even as a man of God. People apologize. They will say, I'm sorry I said that word in front of you. Listen, I can appreciate the respect they're trying to show, and I tell them, hey, I appreciate that. But let me tell you something. I'm not the speech police. I'm not your judge. I am not your king. I'm not your God. You talk to God about those things. Whatever, you don't answer to me. I appreciate it, but I don't lose my lunch because somebody says a word. They've said on here, I try to keep the program very family friendly. And I've probably got some Christian friends that don't like that. There's been a few words. In fact, I've been called on it a little bit. I just ask because there are people that don't want to hear it, and it can be. I've said things that I shouldn't have said myself. Sometimes I reflect, I analyze all that I've done afterwards, and I think, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Got a little too carried away in my flesh or whatever. But I do keep it family friendly. We do have a lot of young people listening. I want my granddaughter to be able to tune in. She's old enough to understand the issues. And the only guy that I ever truly banned, I think there's only one guy I ever truly banned, and he will remain banned. He attacked my granddaughter. And he told her to get out of the chat. She didn't have a right to be in there. And I said, dude, you just messed up. And he said, this is not a place for kids. I said, it's not a place for you. And I banned him. And he can change names and comes back. But listen, I wouldn't let anybody attack your kids or your grandkids or your wife or whatever. I'm not going to allow that. I just ask that you don't do that. But in saying that, it's not that I don't have a belief, but I feel that sometimes, this is just me. I try not to be, I don't try to make it my way. In other words, like me and Broski, I consider us friends. Other people may not like that, that we're friends. And I've said that, Broski, you're my friend. Do we always agree? No. But his views are his views. My views are mine. The podcast is a way for us to come together and share those views. He says he doesn't like Charlie Kirk's widow. That's his view. And a lot of people would stand on that. Other people would say, I love her to death. She's the greatest thing. And that's their view. And so we could have a platform here where people can share each side of that view or take a middle of the road opinion. They don't even care. And that's what I always wanted to have, was a place where people could discuss it. Yeah, sometimes emotions get in. You got to watch that. It's easy for us to do that as humans, not take it personal. I know sometimes I'm quiet because I'm trying to let the conversation go where it needs to go. But I understand most of the time. I mean, sometimes, sometimes I take the other side of an issue just to create the discussion, and people misinterpret what I think, which is maybe that's a skill I have. I don't know, but I sometimes will ask, because I think of myself in that way, as a little newsy and journalistically. And I've always wanted the podcast to have that news division. I'm going to be bringing back the news, hopefully every night. We're working on that, what that's going to look like. And I do want to have that. Now, sometimes just cover news. Sometimes we'll go into one issue and hit it really heavy, but I always want to have that. Yes, Dave, you're my friend. I'm a Northern transplant Catholic, different upbringing than you, but we have a lot in common as well. And I respect and love you, man. I love you too, man. And there's one thing I'll say about it. If you're a friend of mine, you're a friend. I'm going to, we don't always agree as friends, and some, here's the problem that I've had is like, and I've tried to say this before without, I don't want to dredge up anything, or anything, but I'm just saying how I am. I've got friends who don't like each other, but we're all friends. I mean, like, I'm friend with this one, I'm friend with that one, I'm friend with this, and none of these three like each other. So I just let it, what do I do? I mean, this person says you can't be friends with him, or she says you can't be friends with this one. And if you're friends with this one, then I'm not a friend with you. And I get lost in the turmoil of it, or the crosswind or the crossfire, or whatever. And I'm just I try to be friendly with all. It's not always possible because some people just don't like you. And that's the way it is. They don't like you. But even if you don't like me, as long as somebody comes in the program and shares something or wants to add to the conversation, it's all good. It's not about me. My feelings are not that thin that I can say, well, this guy don't like me, I'm going to kick him out or her out. No, I've had people that pop in and they listen in the background. There's a lot of people that listen in the background that never comment. I talk to them offline. And, there's people that, people say, well, if you let this one on, you're going to hurt your program. You'll have more viewers if you do this. I promise you, I'm not looking at the viewers just to say, oh, I got to 20. Yay, great for me. I've done a show with nobody watching. I figure somebody will watch it later on. I've done a show with over 100 watching. It's fine. I'm not too worried about that. I do want to grow the channel. I think it's important to grow the channel, just because I want to reach more people and interact with them around the world. I want to hear that. I learn from people. I mean, I'm not closed-minded to that. I learn every show I do. I learn something. I learn how much I don't know. And I always said, if you ever stop trying to learn, you stagnate, then you're good for nothing. Sometimes those other things I learn will influence, biblical truths. I'm not changing really there, although there may be a teaching or a viewpoint where I say, okay, I didn't know that part of that. It makes a little more sense. The picture is a little fuller. I'm not changing my stance on Christ. That's not going to happen or anything like that. But I do listen to people. If somebody says I'm a Buddhist or whatever, I'll listen to what they have to say because they're a human being. That's something that they believe in. And I've had them, many Buddhists that work for me, atheists, you name it, we don't have a problem. Um, some of the most brilliant people I've known, they just don't have a relationship with Christ. But I'm not supposed to insulate myself and surround myself in a bubble where nobody, where I just talk to people that are Christian. What? That's not being evangelistic. I may never change anybody's, and I can't change anybody's opinion, but I may never influence anybody to give Jesus a try or something like that. But I will say that, if I can plant a seed, and if they never change, they never change. All I can do is be the voice. And although it's not a church channel per se, some people misinterpret that it's supposed to be this church channel every show, which it's not. Although it has that element in every show, we're all men and women of faith, and we share our faith. And we have a lot of preachers and a lot of Christians that watch, and they get it. I mean, they get it. Some don't, and they don't watch. And I get, but we go to work and we work with people at our job, and not everybody at our workplace is Christian. So I don't understand. You're walking through the office and you hear something and you're like, okay, I don't really care for that comment, but it's the workplace. Well, the podcast is no different. It's a place where people assemble and they have different beliefs. And, we got friends all over the world, they tune in from time to time. I had one contact me the other day. He listens from South Africa. And he said, just letting you know, Dave, I still listen. I've been very busy with my studies in college. He's a young man in college now. He started out, he was in high school. He said, I'm in college. I still listen to you. Just know I haven't had time to chat. And I said, hey, man, take care of business. Proud of you, man. Keep up the good work. So like I said, a lot of people in the background, they never come in the chat, and they'll make a decision. Every now and again, we get a thumbs down. That's cool, too. It doesn't bother me. It's kind of funny, really. It's kind of an honor, really, I'm the same way, Dave. I don't get caught up in the drama and gossip or who likes or doesn't like someone. I like who I like and talk to who I talk to. I don't care what others think. I don't like fake people, liars, super soft people, and people who suffer from I would say we pretty much agree on that. I mean, I am what I am by the grace of God. And in saying that means, yeah, there's some things that I need to get better at in my life. Sure, absolutely. You see my faults daily. I really do try to never get angry or anything because it's not good for your health, and you're not going to change anybody's opinion anyway by getting mad. But listen, I got a temper like anybody, and in a snap moment, I could, get aggravated or whatever. Most of the time when I'm aggravated, it has nothing to do with those things. It's probably something going on behind the scenes that I'm trying to get straight, and people misread what I'm trying to do. So anyway, enough about me. I don't even really like to talk about me that much. I use me as the push pin. To push the pin into to make fun of or whatever, because it's safe ground. I can make fun of myself. We like to cut up and go on. But I do appreciate all of you. I am going to get off here for a bit. I need to be with my wife and do some things with her, help her with some things. And then I'll be back on. We're going to do the pet show today, too. I got to get in touch with Miss Jen and find out when. It'll be either this afternoon or this evening. So it'll probably be this evening if I had to guess. But we'll see. We will see. Have a great afternoon. Enjoyed talking to all of you. Thank you for everybody stopping by and giving some sort of watch. You took a precious time from your day to do that, whether it was for 1 second or an hour or the whole thing. And I appreciate that. Have a blessing of a Sunday if we don't meet again today. And it does help us to give us a like and a follow and share if you haven't done all that. We're on multiple platforms, and we're blessed. That's all I can say. So pray for the American military today. Pray for the leadership, and let's pray for those families especially that we know have lost loved ones or they're injured. And so Walter Reed or the various military hospitals probably will be going overseas first for those that are injured. They'll medevac them home and get them into, if they need, Walter Reed probably will for a while. Let's pray for that they get able to live, that those injuries, first of all, that they'll be not die. Secondly, that their wounds will not, impact their quality of life too much, and get them back with their families. And just a prayer cover over our men and women in uniform wherever they're serving today, from New Jersey to the Straits of Hormuz and everywhere else in the world. Pray for our American military, first responders, It's a wicked world out there, and take care of yourselves as well. We will pull up some music, and I don't know what I'm going to play. Let's play this. I got a new song I did for Biscuit Boy. I think you'll like it. He liked it. We'll have to play that maybe this evening or something. He'll be back with us late tomorrow. He can't come in early. He's got a function to go to, and I'll play this song going out. Just how big a boy are you? Well, right now the president's pretty big, and if you're rattling sabers, Iran, your saber just got snapped. If that was your intention, was to just play the game, you're now your saber is on the ground broken. Whatever you thought, however big you thought you were, it's over. May the next man step up, and we'll see how he acts. But right now, they better not step up too forcefully, or they won't be having dinner tonight. We'll say that. Take care.
Mud on your boots, dirt on your hands, fight in your eyes, scars on your plans. Who you gonna be when the lights all fade? When the stage is gone, when the debts ain't paid. Just how big a boy are you when the chips fall, when the fish fly? Just how big a boy are you when the truth comes, when the lies die? Big talk ain't the weight you carry. Down truck in a no-name town, dust on your tongue, rain won't come down. What's the measure of a man with nothing to show? When the wind cuts deep, when the seeds don't grow. Just how big a boy are you when the walls crack, when the earth shakes? How big a boy when your pride bends, when your heart breaks? Big talk don't mean a thing at all. You can puff your chest, you can raise your chin, but the mirror don't care about the fire within. How far will you